masterpiece.
Go.
We good?
Yeah, we're live.
Here.
What's up, everybody?
I'm excited to be here today, Tim.
Yeah.
We got a bunch of stuff to talk about today.
Bittersweet episode, though, I'll say.
Well, for him, everything's bittersweet for me, but yeah. Tim, I have to say this off the top because I'm getting a lot of feedback because we're reaching some people. We really are.
Yeah.
We're making a difference here. And people are like, "Hey, yeah, Ron, you're cute and you're funny and you're this and that, but Tim's like full of information. But he seems like
some days
he's uptight." So
that was my mom.
Oh, that was
Thanks,
your mom. Sorry.
Appreciate the feedback.
Yeah. Anyway,
I'm going to loosen up today, so
Yeah.
we're going to do that. But before I get there, we've got a lot of stuff to cover, don't we?
We
got
have
a lot of good stuff.
a lot of good. Oh, I'm excited about your stuff. I really am.
Yeah, we've had the internet, our local internet has kind of exploded. Mostly positive vibes from it, but some not so great. So did you need to say anything before we get started?
I just wanted to say that you need to loosen up. We have heard from so many fans that it's phenomenal.
Fans.
I know both of us. Fans, supporters, whatever you want to call them. We've heard from a few haters.
There are haters out there.
I mean, there's...
If you wasn't aware,
Yeah.
they're out there.
From the left and the right.
Yeah.
Because Tim's getting hated on, I'm getting hated on, but we're both, I mean, we're still doing okay in the sack, right?
Yeah.
Always. I'm going to touch on this whole way through. We have the Ryan Walters election results we have to get to sometime in this. I know that you're going to love that.
We can't just bypass that part.
No, we're going to.
We got to do that. Okay.
No.
I
I mean, if April Grace had won or Jenna Nelson had won or Bernie Sanders, you would be there with me.
Oh, Bernie Sanders.
Yeah.
Let's go, Bernie.
So, anyway.
Go the burn. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. I'm excited to get to your stuff, actually, because it's kind of a big deal. So I'll let you
Yeah, it really is. So this is a bit of a story. I'm just gonna go ahead and show the pictures to everybody so that you can see what it is that we're dealing with, and then I'll talk about what happened, what led up to that. So here are those pictures. So this is from a book called Blankets that was inside the Owasso Public School Library. Now, everything that you see a sticker on was actually explicit in the book. So, what you would imagine is being censored out, it's actually there. I'm only censoring it because this is YouTube, and we're just growing. And as you can see here, we've got little kids, with their stuff hanging out. And again, this is in a book in the public school, in the library.
So you had to put stickers on this in order for us to air it.
Correct, because it would violate YouTube's content policy.
But where did you find this at?
At the public school library.
Okay.
And what's interesting is that TikTok, I actually put a video up of this. It was just these screenshots and me talking, and TikTok immediately removed it. The computer automatically did that. Now, as you can see, the type of content that was in that book. So what happened is I had a parent reach out to me and say that this other book called Flamer, which I have not read, I haven't seen the content of Flamer. She said that it was in the school, and there's a lot of things going on, some things that people have said about the book, but I haven't personally seen it myself. So I asked my daughter to see if she could check it out. She couldn't. It had been pulled off of the shelf. When she gets home during this conversation, she tells me, well, Dad, I actually already read that book, and there were several other books that were way, way worse. So she starts telling me about a book where children are urinating on each other and, having sex, and kids are being raped and all of this. And I just
like pictures and stuff.
Right. In the graphic novel. And I just kind of freaked out because that's, totally unnecessary. Doesn't need to be in school for any reason. I don't see any educational value in that. Do you?
I've nope.
Yeah. And all this time, I trusted that the school, at least to this level, I trusted that they wouldn't have had something like that in the school, but clearly I was wrong. But I reached out to them, and they gave me the the administrator 101. Well, Mr. Ryland, we have a process in place, and blah blah blah. At the time when I reached out to them, I did not have these pictures. So the principal at the high school actually was really bad. At one point, I'm asking her questions like, do you think that it's appropriate for a book that has children urinating on each other and having sex and children being raped? And another thing I'm just not going to say because it's gross.
It's gross. Yeah, it's pretty gross. But you're
you
able.
Think that that's appropriate in the school? She would not answer my question. She's well, I haven't seen this material. I don't know what the context of it is. And in my mind, I'm like, I don't care what the context is. It shouldn't be in there.
There's no, I can't think of any situation where it would be contextually appropriate to have that in public school.
Right. Buried in the middle of a book where, kid picks it up, looks at the cover, looks as innocent enough, starts reading it, and all of a sudden, bam, there's all this stuff in there. Well, at some point, while I was in there talking to this principal, they actually called the cops on me. So they thought I was an unruly parent, and I was actually supposed to stay in there to get the list of books that my child has checked out. And so because I didn't know what the name of the book was, my daughter didn't remember what it was. But when I walked out and saw the cop there standing right outside the door, I'm like, I'm too irritated. I need to just go. Don't feel like getting arrested today over something like this. And I go home. Sure enough, I find it was in one of the books that she had checked out. And I took screenshots of it. The following day, I go to the school, to the, actually it would have been 2 days later. The assistant superintendent, he sat down with me. I didn't really say anything other than I had printed off 43 pages. What you saw in there is only a quarter of the pictures that are available. There were 43 pages of this crap, and I just set it in front of him. I'm like, I don't think I need to say anything else. Just look through those. And his attitude completely changed. You see, he had gone into that meeting thinking that he was going to explain to me this process and how this process works. But after seeing the material, he was like, none of that matters now because it clearly didn't work. So I'm like, thank goodness for somebody with a little common sense. But it's that brick wall that you run into initially where you've got your child telling you these things are happening and the school just doesn't believe you. And they want to just push you off and call the cops on you and dismiss you.
Well, they think you're coming to attack their way of life and their existence, and you're just a concerned parent.
Yeah, and
like a legitimate concern.
Like I told that principal the next day, whenever I showed her those images, I'm like, "You weren't listening to me. You thought I came in here to just gripe at you, but it's not about you." She even admitted that she was on the defensive. She thought from the moment that I walked in there that I was attacking her. That's what she said to me. But it's not about her. It's about my kid. I don't go up there for a way I feel about somebody at the school. I go up there to advocate for my kid because that's my job. That's
you wouldn't have cared who you talked to.
Right. It wouldn't have mattered. I just wanted to talk to the people who were in charge of this kind of thing. They never did let me talk to the librarian. She had also, during that first meeting, said I wasn't allowed to go to the library. So I ran into a situation
You weren't allowed to go to the library?
To read the books, right. Now, Mark...
But your child is.
Right.
Okay.
She tells me the only way that I can find out what's in a book is to get my child to check it out and then take it home, and then I go through it. But by that point, I've already exposed my child to this stuff. So that didn't work, and it didn't make any sense. But because I did this, and they made me feel like I was crazy. I had to ask my wife multiple times, am I overreacting? Because that's the way they made me feel. They were gaslighting me while I was there.
Well, we were on the phone several times that day, and I was like, Tim, if you need bail money, let me know. Because
Yeah, I mean, you heard me. I mean,
as anybody would, I think. Any rational adult would be.
Yeah, because I couldn't understand it. I couldn't make heads or tails of why that would even be a thing, why I would even have to go up to the school to do that. And I was really pissed off at myself because I actually defended the school when other parents had come out about Flamer. I'm like, it's probably just a book that was shipped in a bulk package or whatever, just slipped through.
Which
in
they
my
do.
mind.
They get like extra books, or you buy so many books, we'll put in some extras. And
Yeah, so I mean, whatever happened, the process didn't work. The school district believed 100% that the process was going to prevent that from happening, and I think that's the problem here. So I'm not going to necessarily hate on the district because they did the right thing, and in fact, that assistant superintendent, he got emotional. He was on the verge of tears. Yeah, it was very clear to me that he was not happy with that. He took ownership of it because he was actually the principal of the high school the year that my daughter checked that out. So I'm not going to hate on them because they did the right thing. I do believe it was a mistake. And they actually, I don't believe that it was on purpose.
Well, let me ask you
this. Put that in there for any reason other than,
You say that you don't think it's a mistake. That's fine. But when was the book put in the library?
2004.
I'm sorry, could you say one?
Yeah, 2004.
So it's been there for over 15 years.
18 years, roughly.
And it's not a mistake?
And it was checked out 24 times in that, which, thankfully isn't a whole lot over a course of 18 years. But that would be, over one checkout each year.
Maybe it's an 18-year mistake. I don't know. Whatever.
Yeah. Well, and nobody reported it because, see, my daughter read it, and she didn't say anything to me about it. And
but she remembered it enough that when you ask her about this other book, she's
brought
like,
it to my attention.
I read a book that was worse than that.
Yeah. And see, this isn't something that parents won't have to worry about when their kids go to school.
Would have never thought about it. Yeah.
Like, I don't want to be like, well, because she'd offered, she's like, well, Mr. Ryland, we can make it so that your daughter can't go to the library. I'm like, well, that's ridiculous.
That is.
And then she's like, well, we can send an aide to make sure that she's looking at material that's appropriate. I'm like, why don't you take that same freaking aide and go in there and look at the books that you already got and take the ones out that are crap?
Why have the books in there that you need to monitor to make sure that they don't work?
Why do we have to do all of this other stuff?
Porn.
Right. It's like you guys are spying on kids forcibly so that they aren't doing things inappropriate online. And forgive me, I'm starting to get upset again because that,
well, this
last
goes
3 or 4 days have been just.
This goes to your gaggle thing, right? You have the government spending millions of dollars to monitor children, everything they say,
to prevent this kind of crap.
to
That's what they say.
prevent them saying sex, or to prevent them saying suicide, and
Flags,
then
curse
you
words.
have the same shit that they're trying to prevent,
Yep.
the same keywords and trigger words in these books in the public library, in the school library.
Right. Yeah, it's really messed up. It's really jacked up.
Mind-boggling to me.
It makes no sense because let me say something else. TikTok was able to immediately detect and analyze that these pages were filled with, and it literally said sexual content with adults. That's what it said. So it knew exactly what it was. So I have a hard time believing that there's no program out there that can analyze all the graphic novels that come in and say, no, this has got crap in it. This doesn't have crap in it. Because there are PDF or there are, ebook files of this. So certainly they can run that through and determine whether or not there's content appropriate for children of any age.
Well, before you get to the ending of what happened, we've been getting a handful of parents pushing back at us. They're like, freedom of speech. Our children, they're wonderful books. We love diversity in our public schools. No, if you want diversity of that type in your house, we all had parents that had Hustler magazines or Playboys or whatever. But that was at our house. I couldn't go to the public library or my school library and check out a Playboy when I was 15.
Right. The content wasn't readily available for you. Yeah, and somebody else, they were like, well, we used to look at National Lampoon's magazine. I'm like, lady, you ever see child rape in National
National Geographic?
No, it's National Lampoon. The old the Max magazine.
Yeah, the Mad Max.
with the acne and whatever. Yeah. It's like that was gross stuff.
Yeah, yeah.
We're not talking about pedophilia. Oh, sorry. Minor attracted persons.
I mean, be political correct here.
To all the pedos out there, my apologies. I'm working on that still.
If you haven't seen this stuff, Tim's going to show it to you here in a second.
Oh, man.
But my wife, she's independent like Tim, and we get into she's like, I don't have a problem with that. I don't have a problem with that. And I was showing her these pictures. She's like, I don't have a problem with that. She's like, oh shit.
Yeah.
What?
Yeah.
In the school? What?
Right.
She got pissed off.
Yeah, and it was 43 pages. Now, the book is 591 pages long, but 43 of those pages is filled with just trash. Just in unnecessary trash. You could have told this story
Just
without
ignorant.
that
Yeah.
happening.
Yeah.
It was, totally unnecessary.
Your intent was obvious to me.
So, and as a parent, it's like, I know my daughter's going to be okay. I've already had talks with her. I'm not concerned about that, but that wasn't really the point.
But
The
if your
point
daughter
is that-
hadn't had your guidance,
right,
or you hadn't been involved
Other
in your
children.
yeah,
it was, and it's like, I don't allow my kids to look at that kind of crap. And then they go to school and are able to look at, golden showers and, whatever else. It's mind-blowing, and it's very upsetting that you do all this stuff for all these years. You feel like you're doing the right thing. You try to do the best for your kid, and then the
these are
people
nasty. I can't even stand looking at these.
the people that you trust either did it on purpose or just didn't have enough judgment in their heads to realize that this could potentially be an issue. But there's a silver lining here, and that is that I just got an email from the superintendent, and matter of fact,
Just
you know
about
what? I'll
half an
just
hour ago, right?
right before this podcast, so I didn't have a chance to put it up in the program, but let me go ahead and read that to everybody.
Yeah, because that made me feel good.
Yeah, good afternoon. In reference to our previous, that's the other email. The selection and reconsideration procedures can be found on our website on the Media Center page. I was asking him about their internal policies about how the books get on there. I will tell you that recent events have caused us to want to rewrite both, and our plan is to take a first reading to the board at the September meeting, which is September 19th is the next board meeting. Also, I wanted to inform you that further action was taken today. We met with all principals and set the expectation that every graphic novel in each building be reviewed by a committee of at least 3 staff members, including an administrator, within the next few days. Obviously, that will take longer at some sites than others due to sheer volume. If a committee member discovers any content that they find concerning, that novel will be taken through the reconsideration process as described on the sheet discussed above, meaning they impanel a committee who looks at the book and makes a determination if that's something that shouldn't be in the district or not. And then he says he appreciates my desire to help. Now, that is how you do it.
That's it.
That's all I cared about. They screwed up. They're going to fix it. We're all human. We all put trust in things that don't end up working.
We're not wanting anybody to lose their job.
No.
We just want everybody to do their job.
And in fact, I thought about sending an email to the superintendent saying, if you fire this man, I will be pissed.
Well, and why? But let's add a little bit more context. Why would you even think that?
What, that she would fire him?
Yeah, that he would have any type of recourse for wanting to take this down.
They always need a scapegoat. They always need somebody they can, well, it wasn't us. He was the principal at the school. Mm-hmm. But, he may have been the one that signed off on the orders for the books, but he's not the one that read all the books. That wasn't his job. You hire a librarian. You assume and the librarian didn't even read all of them. And that was another issue. But it's clear that they are going to adjust their policies so that doesn't happen again. And I've seen a lot of teachers online pissing and moaning because they've got to go through the books in their classroom. I've got to go through there and pull all this stuff out.
TPS, we've got over 1 million books. I don't give a shit if you got
I've
10
got to
million.
go through it by myself. Like, look, do your damn job. Do your job. You're getting paid. Stay late if you need to. I don't care. Do it over the next couple of weeks or whatever. Just get it done and quit bitching about it. If I have to do something at my job I don't like, I can either quit or I can just do the damn job.
Right.
So that's what I feel about that. And this district is taking it a step further. They're saying all the books, every book.
Before you show these pictures, and I know you're fixing to show them.
Oh, what? I already showed them.
Oh, they're already.
Yeah.
Okay, if y'all are looking at these pictures, if I was to take something like this to school when I was a kid, I'd get suspended.
Right. Oh yeah, there's no way that you could walk into the school with a shirt that had anything like that on there.
No,
and in fact, there was drug use in the book. If you had taken a shirt that had drug use on it, they're gonna make you go home. They might even suspend you.
Yeah, we got the Jinx students down there protesting because their shorts are too short, and boys are allowed to wear tank tops. But this is serious stuff,
right? Yeah, this is just nasty and it's unnecessary.
It doesn't have anything to do. And Tim and I have both been getting hit with you're homophobic, you're transphobic. This is because you don't want to be inclusive to all children and let them know that they're normal and these things happen. I don't care about any of your feelings.
Right.
It has nothing to do with feelings.
Well, and to add to that, this is straight. Right, other than the one with the two brothers that were in there urinating on each other, the softcore porn that's in here is straight porn, right? So it's a boy and a girl,
and it is softcore
except
porn.
for the one that's the kid that's being raped,
which
in
is
the picture,
that's criminal,
right? So the LGBTQIA argument that this stuff is in there, it's to help kids who are going through this. It's like, look, you can do that and you can tell these stories and you can inspire people and motivate them to get through a tough time without showing them that. And what they're saying when they latch themselves onto these inappropriate books is that our whole life revolves around this stuff. And I know that's not true. I know these people are not like that.
No.
So they're selling themselves short as if they have to tell a story in this way with the.
They have to be the victim,
right? Or put in content that's inappropriate. You don't have to do that. You can tell a story and inspire and motivate young kids without all that nonsense. You can do it. It's been done forever.
I can't imagine being a child these days.
Yeah, there's a lot of trash out there. It's unfortunate, but. It is what it is, and
but you have to speak up against it. That's what we're doing,
right?
That's the whole reason of this.
I actually don't think I showed this picture. Let me show
that
this
one
picture.
was horrible. I'm glad you took that one off.
Yeah, this is one of
look
those.
At that.
Yeah,
oh my god.
This is the other picture. This is coming up later, but it's just I don't know. But they fixed it, so.
They say that we're going to follow up.
Well, he pulled that book within 30 minutes of that conversation. I mean, he was literally on the verge of tears.
I know, but then I think
he cared.
But didn't you say that no administrator is allowed to pull a book?
That was something they just posted that I just saw, but that was in relation to divisive topics like slavery, race issues. Okay. That's what they were referring to there. It didn't say anything about like inappropriate content like
criminal activity.
Right. I mean, because essentially this would be considered, I think, child pornography.
I know
by federal statute standard. Yeah,
absolutely. And then you have the whole thing of how did the books get to the school?
Right. When they're shipped. I mean, when they're shipped through the, UPS or whatever, that's a federal issue. So whoever's sending this stuff, they're not going to do that.
They're not.
That's getting down into the weeds, but still, you got to go after them for that.
This is a serious issue is what I'm trying to make the point
it is. It really is.
It's messing with our kids when they should be in school learning about the fundamental basics.
Yeah. You pick up a book called Blankets. That's Blankets. The cover of it is just, they're out in the snow, these two kids huddled up. And then you read through it, and all of a sudden you got, kids.
Hey, did you feel that? Did you feel that? I just peed on you.
Yeah, well, I'm going to keep getting irritated, so we probably just move on. If you want to know more, you can follow me at Tim Ryland, REILAND. I've got the pictures posted there, all 43 of them. You can go to Loudmouth's Facebook. They're also shared there, which, is a new thing, by the way. We just got our Facebook page.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
So we should probably mention that.
Well, I just shared us. We got several followers already, but...
Yeah. So the Facebook page is live. We're on Spotify now. We're on Amazon Podcasts. We're on Google Podcasts. So just search us up. If you want the link, reach out to me or Ron, and we'll hit you up with it.
And you said Twitter? We're on Twitter, correct?
Yes, I've got the Twitter set up, but I need to make sure that it's good before I put that out there because we have so many accounts right now. It's crazy. A lot of work goes into this stuff, setting this up and getting it. Yeah, a lot of work. I've spent basically all day getting all this stuff together.
Well, I'm lazy a little bit, but I write out my outlines and get my topics for the week. But it takes a lot of effort to get enough content to do a 1 hour show.
Yeah.
And I watch like Hannity and Tucker Carlson. I'm like, they make it look easy. They have like hordes of people doing their work for them.
Yes.
And it's just me and Tim, and it's
just
about
the
80% Tim.
Right.
So anyway, we're getting
95.
no, it's like
clarification,
82.6.
at least 97.
Next week, we got an email today. They're turning our internet on down in Bigsby. Oh, I shouldn't have said Bigsby.
Did we verify that we are live? Did we look? Because I want to. I just want to.
Yeah, I already.
You
shared
did
it.
look.
I did,
and
yeah,
okay.
I shared it.
Okay.
We're in South Tulsa.
Yeah, because I assumed we were live.
No, yeah,
but
yeah, no, we're live.
Because all this stuff is manual and it's okay.
Yeah,
Sweet,
we're live.
Sweet.
But anyway, we're going to get our office space going in South Tulsa
On the 1st
on
of
the
September,
1st, next
internet's
Thursday.
coming in. Yeah.
We should
Is that next Thursday?
It's next.
Okay.
Our next one should be from the new office space.
Hopefully.
Hopefully.
Yeah.
Because
Well,
they're-
we're going to do one on Sunday, right?
Well, yeah.
Gonna-
Okay. Yeah.
So we'll
But our
do one
next
on
Thursday
Sunday.
one, yeah.
Our next Thursday one.
Sunday will be here. Thursday will be down at the new.
Stars and moon align just right. We'll be there.
I hope so. Yeah. Gosh.
But so yeah, that's the updates on what we've got going on. You've got some things since I've been talking for the last 20 minutes.
You
Sorry
talk
about-
a bunch.
I ramble.
I mean, you do.
Well, that's why this is what I should do is just talk.
My thing on your books, I really appreciate you doing the work and going, because
Yeah,
I mean,
man.
you were like, hey, I'm headed up there, and I was
Yeah.
like, hey,
Yeah. It was bad. You ask my wife. She was probably a little worried about me because
I was worried about. I wasn't worried about you. I was like,
Yeah.
if you need bail money, let me know, because I would be doing the same thing
Now,
if I was in town.
I do want to clarify. I would never do anything violent towards anybody.
No
But I come
violence at
across
all.
when I'm irritated and upset like that. When it comes to my kid, it's hard for me to control my voice. I get loud. I have a loud voice anyway. So
I think any mom or dad would
Yeah.
relate to that.
But I think they understood it once they saw the pictures, because they didn't believe me at first. Once they saw them, they were like, okay,
Yeah.
this is definitely a problem.
And hopefully they were able to see that, hey, this dude isn't up here just bitching and whining. He's up here
Right.
because this is a legitimate
Well,
thing.
the principal there knows that now. I
Yeah.
made sure to tell her that. We sat down with her boss there and went over that. I'm not real happy with her, but it is what it is.
Yeah,
you
I
know.
mean, people aren't real happy with me and you either.
Yeah.
And
So,
speaking to that, the LGBTQI
A+.
plus,
I think it's A+.
neither of us hate gay people or transgender people.
I don't hate
or
anybody.
black people or anybody for that
Right.
matter.
I don't hate anybody.
We don't hate. I genuinely love everyone.
Yeah.
I just don't want your beliefs and your values to dictate what I believe in my house. And you cannot dictate what beliefs go on in public schools, whether you're Christian, atheist, gay, straight, black, white. The kids are there to learn to read and write and do math, and that's it.
Right. Yeah, it's odd to me because, like, I know it is a struggle for them, for people who genuinely suffer from, like, gender dysphoria. You know?
I don't believe in that stuff, but you do, and it's a scientific thing.
Yeah, it's been a thing forever. But instead of now there being, this spectrum of masculinity and femininity, which we've always had, boys that were on the feminine side and girls that were on the masculine side, now they just, well, you can be a boy or a girl too. And then they, the fact that they want you to use language that makes them feel better.
That's not my job.
Right. It feels, I don't know, it feels very forceful, in my opinion. Like, if you look, if I see you and you look like a girl, I'm probably going to use a he or she pronoun, right? I mean, that's just
Don't get me
natural.
started on the pronoun shit.
Now, and I will say, in our defense, I'm 40. I believe he's over 40.
45, yeah.
Yeah. So we didn't grow up with any of that stuff. So if you see someone our age and we're like, not wanting to participate, I
won't.
When I was younger, there were people that were older who would not get on board with like gay rights and such. And I was always a proponent for gay rights. I pushed for gay rights. It was my generation, our generation that got that through.
Right.
Now we're those old guys. And, some of that may be just a cultural shift. It might be. Because those people couldn't understand it either.
Here's my thinking. People have been gay since we came out.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Greece, thousands and thousands of years.
Well, people have been dressing up as women and
dressing up, and they did it when we were in school.
We
knew
even
about drag
long
queens
before that. Yeah. So
we knew about drag queens, but we knew what they were.
Right.
But now you have people telling you that they're going to dress up as a cat.
See, that doesn't make
they're
any
an
sense.
animal.
Yeah.
And they're going to piss in a litter box.
Yeah.
And we have to accept that as an intelligent human being.
Just so that we don't offend them.
I don't give a shit if I offend them or not.
And that's their argument.
Right,
It's
yeah.
like and I don't want to offend anybody, but at some point in life, and we knew this growing up, that some people get bullied, some people bully. That's not going to change. It
Never.
may become a less of an issue, but it really isn't going to change. So the only thing that you can change in a situation that you can't control is how you react to it. And I think a lot of that may get lost here, because if you aren't being forced to find a way to cope with a situation, and your answer is, well, we're just going to force everybody to make me feel better because me, mine, right?
Right.
They may not have the best coping mechanism in life.
You're going to force me
Later
one time.
Yeah.
And it ain't going to work out the way you think it is.
Yeah, and then or to shame people and dox them
Right.
and try to ruin their life because you, for whatever reason, were offended.
Live and
I
let
don't
be,
care.
right?
Right. Yeah.
Except in public schools, and that's where our fight is.
Yeah.
If
well,
it wasn't a public school thing, you can't do anything with public schools because it's a socialist environment, yes or no?
yeah. Yeah.
When you walk through the doors of public schools, you are no longer in America. You have rules to follow that everybody has to follow because it's a socialist environment.
Well, you don't shed your rights when you walk through the door, though. This is, I believe, TLO versus New Jersey. The Supreme Court has stated
So
this.
much smarter than me, but I'm so much better looking.
But they
That's
do
true,
say
though.
that inside the school you have like lessened rights because of the situation you're in and because of the responsibility the school has to do stuff to take care
Because
of
of how
you.
it's
And-
set up, that's how it has to be.
Right. And, and I'm okay with that. And nobody wants to offend a child, especially. I don't want kids to feel bad about themselves. But at the same time,
No.
look at it this way. If you were never sick as a kid because you're constantly wiping germs off and your mom is sanitizing you constantly, your immune system isn't going to be so great
It's going to be shit.
because you were never exposed to any of that. And I think the same is true from a mental standpoint.
Oh, absolutely.
If you
Good
never
point.
came across
Great
a
point.
situation where you had to deal with and cope and work through an issue of a bully or somebody who kept saying something that made you feel
Some
yuck,
type of diversity.
right, then that's part of development, in my opinion, is coming across adversity and getting over it. And, children do kill themselves. They've been killing themselves for a long time. That is an absolutely unfortunate thing.
Horrible.
But it is part of life. That is one of the things that we just have to deal with as a society. We do our best to mitigate that, but at the same time, we want adults that can work through situations inside their minds and maintain their composure and let some things roll off of their chest. I don't like bullying or anything like that. But
No, I don't think any normal human being likes bullying.
yeah,
I think we need to step back and just take a breath and think, go back to our basics and think, hey, yeah, that's not nice. Don't say that to him or her.
right.
And just go from there and quit the whole, we have to make sure that we have a committee of people that decide whether or not this action is true.
Right.
Bullying, or it's just,
Yeah.
I don't know. I
Yeah.
think it's too much. You're doing
like-
too much.
yeah.
You're extra.
Yeah, for sure. And then, that goes towards, there's a lot of money that goes into like gender reassignment surgery, hormone therapy. There's a lot of money in the medical field for that stuff, and I think a lot of this is getting pushed because of that, because these people can make buku money.
Well, and the same thing with these books. The more we talk about these books that you shouldn't read, it's the same thing with Twisted Sister back in the day.
Twisted Sister.
Yeah. Explicit lyrics.
Yeah. Right.
That was the biggest moneymaker they could do, was put that explicit lyric stamp on them.
Or NWA.
NWA. That's,
Definitely culture shifts there.
Don't listen to this.
Right.
Ever.
And then, well, of course, kids are going to do.
And then what do? They go out and fucking
sure.
have their parents buy the.
Yeah, I mean, I think we're going to be okay, regardless of how you feel about the situation. I think we'll all find a way to work. It'll all work itself out in the end. That's how I believe, anyway.
It's got to.
Everything
there's
always works out.
It is. Yeah, and that's what people don't realize. My wife is always like, "Why don't you worry about?" Well, because shit's going to work out the way shit works out.
Yeah, it's true. Yeah, my wife is also, she's a worrier, and I'm like, I can't control the things I can't control, so if I'm sitting there dwelling on it,
you're wasting your life.
Right, there's nothing I can do about it, so why worry about it?
Yeah. What else you got?
So I wanted to go over Biden's debt forgiveness program.
You mean everybody in America that didn't have college debt gets college debt now? Is that what you want to talk about?
No, debt forgiveness.
Oh, okay. Go ahead.
So this is more of a, hey, this is informing you of what's coming up, because some of you are probably going to like this. It may affect you in some way, but there's some statistics here. So you can get up to $20,000 forgiven for Pell Grant recipients, and up to $10,000 forgiven for non-Pell Grant recipients. And that's if you make under $125,000 for a single person, or $250,000 for a couple. Also, they're going to extend the loan, pause, so that you don't have to make payments until December 31st. So starting January, you're going to have to start making those payments again. They're also going to halve the cap on the payout. So it's going to be 5% of your non-discretionary income.
Really?
Yes. So whereas it was, I believe, 10% before, so half of that. Now, almost 90% of the forgiveness is going to people who make under $75,000 a year. So it really is going, the bulk of it's going to people who...
Who said
really,
that?
This is part of the program.
It's part of the requirements?
Yes, this is part of the program. Yeah, the
people that need it the most
are getting it, right?
Okay,
and they're the ones that are. It won't be treated as taxable income like they often do. Loan balances now are going to be forgiven after 10 years instead of 20 of payments. So if you make payments for 10 years, it'll be forgiven. Also, it used to be they used to cover 80% of tuition Pell Grants, and now they only cover a third of tuition. Right, so you could get a Pell Grant, and 80% was covered by the Pell Grant program, and now it's only 33%. It's crazy. That's a huge. It's the price of the cost of tuition.
It's like it's astronomical.
Student loan debt is now at $1.6 trillion. That's insane to me. That's
sad.
Yeah, that's massive. And
that makes me mad because that's a racket anyway.
It really is. Yeah, they
do you
really
like Mike Rowe?
Yeah, the guy that does the jobs.
Dirty Jobs?
Yeah.
Have you heard him about college and tuition and stuff?
No.
It's a privatized way of making business or making money.
Oh yeah, for sure. And here's what upsets me, I think, most
I got a point to make. Go ahead.
Go for it.
My daughter came home today. She's 18. She's a senior in high school. And she showed her mother her phone. And she's like, look what I just got sent from TU. And it was like some type of, come check out our campus. We're going to give you this and this and this and this and that. And it's only going to cost you $60,000 a semester.
Oh, my God. Are you serious? $60,000 a semester at TU?
Yeah. And my daughter, she's beautiful and I love her. She's smart. But she ain't TU smart. You know what I'm saying?
That's crazy. Yeah,
my brother
went to TU. I don't remember what he paid, but he was there 10, 15 years ago.
It may be $60,000 a year, but I think it's $60,000 a semester.
That seems really excessive. Yeah.
Well, OU is like 25, 30 grand a semester.
Yeah, which is crazy because RSU down the road is like $2,500, $3,000 a semester. That's a great school.
If you have like a 3.0, you can go free at TCC.
Right. Yeah. So there's options. and a lot of people put a lot of stock in the school that they go to. And certainly there are bad schools, because there were these pop-up colleges that showed up, things like Right Career College, these little, for-profit colleges, and they were just taking all this money, but their graduation rates were crap. The programs that they had were crap. They ended up getting sued because it was just a big scam. They were scamming the government. So those people who went there, a lot of them are still saddled with debt.
I think is that the case that they just settled, though? The government said they had to pay them all back?
I don't think they ever said that they had to pay them all back.
I
don't remember that. That's something to look up, though.
This was separate from the announcement from yesterday or today.
Yeah.
I think it was like, it was a bunch of money.
I do know that you have to sign up for it, but I believe there is a list of colleges where if you apply for it, they will forgive all of it, I believe. So I don't know if that's coming from the lawsuit or if that's the government saying we'll go ahead and pay for it, which kind of brings me to the point I was going to make earlier, where the government went in and bought all of this stuff, all of this debt, right? So now the government owns, I think, the vast majority of loans that were ever created. So they took care of the banks. They handed your tax money over to the banks. So we already paid for these loans. So when we're talking about debt forgiveness, that's something to keep in mind, is that we've already paid for.
Well, that's my point, is when you say the government is going to forgive your debts,
it's debt they already purchased.
But who purchased it?
The government did.
And who is the government?
Well, I mean,
us.
Well, right, for the taxpayers. Yeah. But we already bought it. That's what I'm saying. And then now when you pay it back, for most of the loans, because they were federally backed loans, which means the bank is going to be made whole regardless.
Listen, I'm going to be real honest with y'all. This is a touchy subject with me because this directly affects me. I have student loans. I want them wiped clean. Of course, who doesn't, right?
Yeah.
But
it's my money, and I want it now.
At the same point, I signed my name on the dotted line. I didn't sign the American people that have the welder that went to trade school and he's making $300,000 a year, and I need to take his money to pay back my stuff.
Yeah. I mean, you make a good point. It's a valid point. And I think in most of society, that is the point that most people are going to be behind. But when you are sold a scam, when it is a fraudulent promise, in my opinion, a lot of people kind of got roped into it. There was a lot of psychological tactics that went behind this stuff. Because when I was coming out of high school, I wasn't ready. And everything said, go to school, go to college. You got to go to college. And I think a lot of that was parents wanted their kids to go to college to make themselves feel better, right?
Yeah,
they would push their kids. Right. They would push their kids. When a trade school would have done just fine for a lot of people.
For most people.
Yes, and those are cheap. You can do that, pay it off without any problems, because you'll get a job within a couple of years and you'll be good to go. So to me, it just really feels like it was a promise that they laid out there and didn't deliver on, right?
Absolutely.
So in that case, not only that, but if you're trying to fix people hurting, this is one way to go about doing it. If it helps a lot of people, I mean, it's,
That's
I
so
feel like
socialist,
it's okay.
Tim.
Well, to a degree. But you're only as good as your worst people, right? We're the richest country in the world, and we have all of these people that are just living in absolute squalor. You know what I mean? It's crazy to me that that's the case. And that's my liberal side coming.
But yeah, that's your San Francisco coming out.
Yeah, buddy. Giving that rainbow flag.
Yeah, giving out rainbow flags and fucking suites at the fucking hotel that I can't afford to go to.
Yeah,
because I work for a living.
To it either. I can't afford to go to it.
I know
either.
You work for a living too.
I try to.
Yeah. What else we got?
Well, I
can, and I can't. This is kind of like an abortion thing. I don't want to get into abortion, but it's like,
let's get into that.
No, well, I mean, we can. I don't have a problem with it.
No, it's fun.
Yeah, I'm just like, I'm wishy-washy on it, I guess.
Yeah. Well,
it affects me, and it affects me.
I understand both sides of the argument, but to me, the benefit outweighs the loss there.
We're all going to have to take care of everybody else's debts.
Right. And, if you saw somebody who was hurting and they needed a ride or water, I'm certain most people would be willing to put themselves out a little bit to help somebody in need. That's kind of what this is, because a lot of people, they just can't pay them back.
But the people that can pay them back, like myself, that I pay my monthly payment, we need to continue to do that as Americans and hardworking people.
Yeah.
And not just suckle the teat of the American taxpayer, I guess is what I'm saying.
Yeah, I mean, because think about this. During COVID, they handed out a bunch of money to people. $800 billion in PPP loans. And it shows that 94% of them were forgiven. And that 77% of the businesses that received that PPP money still fired employees.
That makes me upset.
Yeah, which was the whole point, to keep everybody whole for the time while we were locking down and doing all that stuff. That was the point. But they took it and they ran. So $800 billion was spent, I believe, and somebody can correct me if this is wrong, but this came from the Small Business Association at $28 billion. All but $28 billion was forgiven. So that's
Forgiven by who?
By the government.
Who is that though? Congress, executive branch?
Well, it'd have been the Small Business Association. I don't know who oversaw that.
I want to know who
Congress
the fuck
voted
made that
for
decision.
This. Yeah, they passed it, and the Small Business Association did it. And the debt forgiveness for the student loans is only $329 billion. So people that don't like the debt forgiveness for student loans, I hope you also scream about the debt forgiveness for the PPP loans too.
Yeah,
because
I agree with
there
that.
were a lot of businesses that didn't need it.
I don't know the argument for why you wouldn't.
Right.
But I would be interested in making sure what the argument is. If you have PPE loans versus student debt loans, what's the argument?
Right. Yeah, it's this wouldn't be the first time that businesses have gotten. In 2008, who did we bail out? The banks.
The banks.
The banks got theirs first, and everybody else was sitting there holding the bag. We ended up paying for it. All the people that got those homes, very few of them actually got to keep them, even though they were preyed on. This was predatory lending practices.
That's a good movie. Have you watched that movie?
What's that?
With Steve Carell?
I believe so.
The Big Short?
Yes.
The Big Short?
Yep.
The Big Short.
Great movie.
It's a great movie.
If you haven't seen it, watch it. It's disgusting.
Yeah, it is. It's horrible.
It's disgusting.
It's like,
yeah.
And it's almost like Oliver Stone, like JFK. Like this is all conspiracy shit, but this actually happened.
Oof. Yeah, it's pretty infuriating stuff, but it happened. So, and that's why I bring that up, because I'm seeing a lot of people gripe about the debt forgiveness, but let's not forget that every time the government hands out money to forgive it, it goes to big businesses and banks especially.
Every time.
That
sucks.
All right, what else you got, man?
Man, Senate Bill 615, you ever heard of it?
No, not familiar with it.
Senate Bill 615 says that today the Oklahoma State Department of Education, the state board, said that we're adopting rules that says physical boys have to go to physical boys' bathrooms and physical girls have to go to physical girls' bathrooms. And Title IX says that if you need a separate bathroom, we can do that too. Do you have any problem with that?
I mean, that's going to open up a whole can of worms.
Let's open it, because
not for me. I'm saying from a good portion of the country. I don't know really how I feel about that, to be honest with you. If we're going to go down that route, just make them all unisex.
Right, and then the question is,
you don't care who goes to what bathroom if it's not an issue for you.
Well,
just make them all unisex.
I made that. Then my next here they come. They're like white on rice. Who's going to pay for all the unisex bathroom reconstruction and installations? I guess the handful of transgender parents,
right,
that need that to happen.
Or you know what? They can take it from the doctors who are giving those gender reassignment surgeries. They can tax that and then let them pay for it.
He said what he said. I love that.
What I said, and that was hyperbole. I was, being facetious to a degree.
I was not.
But they could just add a trans bathroom. I mean,
yeah,
that could
be
be
Then you're targeting trans people.
Like, oh, they're trans. Well, you know what? Here, if you're proud of yourself, be proud of yourself.
Right.
If you're trans and you're good with that, then to hell with everybody else. And this goes back to what I was saying before.
I wonder if we're having the same thing with, because there were people in high school when I was in high school that were gay.
Yeah.
But we
Probably didn't talk about it that
right,
much.
but
though.
we went and pissed in the same bathroom.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. And nobody was over there.
There wasn't a
"Look at
gay.
that." Oh.
There wasn't a gay bathroom.
Right.
There wasn't an issue because
Yeah.
they were a boy. They were just gay.
And in the locker rooms.
Yeah, and absolutely.
And you wouldn't even know.
You
Wouldn't even know.
because it didn't belong in public schools.
Right. Or here's what you could do. Take out urinals. Take out urinals and put in private bathrooms, and then you go in there, you do your business, same sex, not sex, whatever.
Are you talking about like stalls?
Yeah.
Because I've had that come in, and they're like, there's stalls in the girls' bathrooms. Those boys aren't looking at the girls while they're trying to pee. Well, if you go in the girls' bathroom in the high school or the boys' bathroom, and you have to take a horrible shit,
It happens, okay?
or you have to change your tampon or whatever they do in the girls' bathroom, and you need some real privacy.
Yeah.
But you can slip a phone, or you can hear somebody farting in the stall next to you.
There's a way
You're
to
in
fix
high
that.
school.
Yeah. Well, there's a way to fix that.
What is the way?
You put stalls all the way to the floor, all the way to the ceiling.
That's unisex bathrooms.
Yeah. They've got truck stops all over the country that are like that, where you go in, it's just
Walls,
bricked up.
bricks.
You've got your own
Bricks.
little nice little room. Sure, it's going to cost a little more, but
that's
it's going to
not-
fix all that.
That's not what they're wanting. They're
Yeah.
wanting to force these boys.
And that, yeah.
And I'm going to say it. They're wanting to force these boys that think that they're girls into my daughter's stalls
Yeah.
in the girls' bathrooms, and that's not right.
Yeah, and we've seen this issue come
Women's
up
rights
in
matter.
other states. I don't remember the state, but there have been several cases where, kids claiming to be trans, not actually being trans, going into the opposite, sex bathroom so they can,
Loudoun County, you ever heard of it?
I believe, yeah. It's what came to my mind, but I
Loudoun
wasn't
County.
sure that was the
Yeah.
county. Yeah. So it's not like this is an issue that people are just, oh, well, that's ridiculous. That's not going to happen. It's already happened. So I see the concern from that side. I also can see the argument from the other side, but there's got to be a compromise.
There has to be a compromise.
There has to be a compromise.
And you've heard me speak at the school board meeting.
Yeah.
Here's the compromise. Boys and boys, girls and girls, anybody else that wants to use the bathroom by themselves, because it's not going to the bathroom. They're just wanting to make sure that everybody thinks that they're a girl because they think they're a girl or they think they're a
That could
boy.
be it. Yeah. They
That's
wanna,
an attention-seeking bullshit that we don't need in public schools.
Yeah. I mean, I agree to some degree, but like I said, if you believe you're a girl, be proud about it. Don't try to hide
absolutely.
it. Don't be so offended. Maybe. I mean, I know people are terrible, but they were terrible to me just because I was poor growing up.
Tim, I've had transgender kids at my dinner table with my daughter.
Yeah.
Because she went through a thing, and
And I've never heard Ron say anything bad about.
The only thing I've
anybody.
said was what we've talked about. I said if a dude walked in my daughter's bathroom, she would kick the shit out of him.
Yeah.
That's all I said.
Yeah, and that
But
didn't go over so well with
It
a lot of
didn't.
people.
It didn't. I got beat up about that yesterday. But I've had transgender kids, no joke,
Yeah.
sitting and doing dinner with me in my house,
Food, sitting in your seat.
talking, having fun, laughing. Spent the night at my house.
Yeah.
Loved my daughter. It's not about my hate for transgenders and gay people because I don't have any.
Right.
It's about protecting my daughter's rights as a daughter and a female. It's about protecting boys that are trying to walk in on, hormones. Come on now.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, this is certainly an issue that's not going to go away anytime soon.
Well,
and people on one side get all in a huff about it. People on the other side get all in a huff about it. But the point of this podcast is so that we can all come together and find something that works for everybody. I don't want anybody to go in and feel uncomfortable, and that's why he doesn't want his daughter to be potentially exposed to the other sex. he doesn't want her to feel uncomfortable. So you know what I mean? So why does one child get to feel uncomfortable so that the other child doesn't feel uncomfortable?
And here's the thing.
Doesn't compute.
There's a member of our community, and I love her too, but if there's a
I think I know who you're talking about.
If there's a physical female that wants to be a boy and she's a transgender male now, I guess is right.
So, this is the one that said I'm the reason why her child.
So if that child, that female child, really believes that they're a boy,
mm-hmm.
and they think that they're entitled to the same rights as boys are, because they feel and think that they're a boy,
or that's what they say,
right? That's what. So my child's physical attributes and actual chemical makeup, is just not. It's just thrown out the window,
right?
Because of their feelings.
Yeah, of
course. And I have a problem processing that.
Yeah, I mean, let's be honest though, it is a place where you take shit. So
right, it's not a big fucking deal.
Right. I mean, these kids should be going in there doing number 1 or doing number 2 and getting the hell out. Because I tell you what, when I went to school, I never wanted to take a shit.
I never wanted to be in the bathroom. That was the last place you wanted to be.
Yeah,
we fought in the bathroom. That's where we fought.
The person in the stall next to me heard that.
Yeah. That motherfucker needs to drink more.
Can relate.
He needs to drink more water.
So people are hating each other about this, and I just wish that everybody would realize that just because people like me don't necessarily understand that part or want to, participate in what we see as something that you can because somebody can pretend that they are one thing and not actually be that.
Manipulation.
Yeah. Or all these people that get this assignment surgery. And then
I love what Dave Chappelle said about it. At what point what is the point where I no longer have to engage in your fantasy?
Right.
Or whatever.
I use religion
You use religion?
As an example to show people, like, because if somebody comes to me and they expect me to believe in their God, so they say things to me, it's like, well, God says this. It's like, well, I don't believe in God. So what you're saying to me doesn't make any sense. But this person is still trying to get me to involve myself and participate in what I believe is fantasy. These people have in their mind, they believe something is true. There are other people that don't believe that is true. So why are we forcing other people to participate in that also?
That's a good point. That's a good point. It's almost like it has no place in public schools.
Yeah.
If you're a boy, go to the boys. If you're a girl, go to the girls. And if you're not, we'll figure it out. And we'll make sure that you're just as equally protected as everybody else is. And that's important to me. I don't want a little trans kid having to walk 12 miles to another bathroom. I'll build a bathroom myself and make sure you get there and get
Porta-John.
Yeah. But it'll be the best damn Porta-John you ever saw.
I don't think we can call it
a
Porta. Yeah, I don't think we have to get a gender neutral name. What's a gender neutral name?
Such an asshole, Tim. What else we got?
What is a gender neutral name? I can't think of what.
I think there's like Porta-near. Is that a pronoun? Porta-near?
I don't know what is. I'm trying to think of an actual name. It's not coming to me. So we can move on. What else you got, Ron?
Porta them?
Porta they.
Porta they. We're going to get
Porta
kicked
they.
off. We're going to get kicked off.
Oh, my goodness. Yeah. This is going to get demonetized. Oh, wait. We aren't able to monetize because we need 1,000 subscribers.
We don't get paid.
Hit that subscribe button and that bell notification.
Right. Subscribe.
Shameless plug. Just saying.
No, it's not shameless. It's like we need money. We're broke. Biden's president. He didn't vote for Biden.
Are we sure he's president?
Well,
the way he kind of meanders around, sometimes I wonder he couldn't. I know there's an arm sleeve there somewhere. Can't quite.
Did you see that video? Oh my God, it was.
Oh, my glasses just fell off my face.
Oh my God, it was. I can't wait.
To my fellow liberals out there, y'all voted for this dude. Y'all did this.
Y'all did.
Instead of the pictures with Biden pointing up, y'all did that.
Yeah.
Y'all did that.
Because he didn't. I know he didn't. Did you hear today? This is not on my notes or anything, but did you hear today that California made it a law? They're no longer going to build or
The gas-powered cars.
Gas-powered cars.
Like 2035, was it?
2025.
Are you sure it was 2025?
I am positive.
I think it was 2035.
No.
We'll double check on that
double
after the
check.
show. Or we can Google it now.
Let me
Yeah,
Google
you
it.
can Google it now.
Let me Google it. Yeah, because
Yeah,
you know,
what?
like, oh my
That's
God.
that's a pretty bold proposition.
Well, they said everybody follows California's lead as far as environmental things.
A lot of times that's true. What I will say, though, is it needs to be maybe a longer timeline because we saw what happened in Texas last year when it got cold and
Yeah, you're right. 2035.
their electric grid didn't keep up. So plug a bunch of cars into that.
Yeah,
Is
what are
the
you gonna
electric
do?
grid going to work? Do we know if it's going to work? That's a lot of added electricity. I don't know.
Yeah, they're
Maybe
going
they've run
to,
the numbers. But I am personally okay with this, except those batteries need to do some more research on how to make a battery that doesn't require all these rare minerals. That is a problem.
Yeah.
It requires
Because where did they come from?
Yeah, from other countries.
China mainly.
China, there's other countries,
Afghanistan.
lithium. I remember Elon Musk once tweeted out, he's like, what did he say? We'll war anybody we want or something like that.
Yep.
Saying we'll go in there and, take your minerals if we need it.
We've done it for years.
Yeah, sadly. And it's something we shouldn't do, obviously.
Tim was right. Newsom touts California's historic vote to ban sale of new gas engine cars by 2035.
2035. So that's 13 years. I mean, that's quite a bit of
That's
time.
pretty quick, though.
Yeah, it is, but I think they already have a really strong network of charging stations in there.
In California?
Yeah, because the Prius, I think, was real big in California when it first came out. That was one of the, so they've been,
Yeah, but to like what you said, I mean, what happens, hell, sometimes even here, if it gets too much, we lose power.
Yeah, well, and here's another way to look at it. California has a lot of people, a lot of cars. So if they get rid of gas-powered cars, obviously it's not going to take every gas-powered car off the road because a bunch of people are still going to have used cars. That is actually going to lower the overall production of pollution in California. So, and that actually will reduce demand for fuel in the entire country when you look at it as a whole. So over time, as you get more and more states to do that, the cost of fuel will go down. There will be less pollution. Because, see, I look at, even if you don't agree with climate change being human-induced, which I do, we still don't want pollution in the air. I don't want to breathe crap.
Hang on a second. Climate change is going to happen. Climate change is going to happen. It may happen at a faster rate because of humans, but the climate has been changing for decades, like centuries, right?
Sure. Yeah, we have ice ages and we have warming periods, sure.
But we contribute to a faster rate of it happening.
Right. But here's what we haven't seen over time, because generally if it's the earth that's doing it, say the high lava flows or whatever,
right,
putting out a lot of carbon and sulfur and what all this, this stuff that leads to some kind of an ice age, what'll happen is the streams in the ocean will stop running. And then that causes these ice ages and really screws up the climate. And it freezes over, but then eventually it starts back up after everything has frozen back up and traps all that carbon.
It's done that for...
It has. But what happens when you keep pumping carbon into the atmosphere?
What happens?
We don't know.
Well, let's find out.
Because the Earth has always been able to heal itself because it didn't have something that just continued to spew that crap into the air. So,
Tim, I know climate change is real. I do. I'm not.
We can feel it every day.
I'm not minimizing climate change. I know it's real. My wife loves to go to Walmart. She doesn't use plastic bags. She makes me carry every single thing we buy out to the truck, and I can't stand it. But that's what we do. You remember back in the 90s? What was the big thing in the 90s?
Oh God, I was too worried about smoking.
Okay, did you ever pay attention to women's hair back in the 90s?
Are you talking about the PFCs or whatever, the
Yes.
hairspray.
Yes. Ozone.
Yeah.
Hole in the ozone. We're all going to die in 10 years.
Yeah, well,
That's been like 25 years ago, Tim.
Well, you know what's interesting about that? I've done a fair bit of research into climate change.
I bet you have.
And this is actually goes back to the 1800s. I believe it's the 1800s. I don't have all the exact dates in my head, but somebody saw these boulders off in this valley somewhere, and he's like, well, I wonder how the hell those got there. And so they started doing research into it. And at this time, they didn't have a lot of technology so that they could measure things, right? So he goes in there, and it was determined that there were glaciers there at one point. So then they're like, well, how the hell does that happen? So then he comes up with this model himself. This is way early. And saying that, showing that I don't know all the specifics of it. Again, I'd have to go back and read it. But basically, climate change and the greenhouse gases has been proven true since the 1800s. Every time that we came up with a new piece of technology that could measure this stuff, like, for example, how much carbon, how much heat does carbon dioxide trap? And once they started proving that, then it kept being true. So we don't
this is
know.
such a good topic.
We don't know
gotta
the
do
exact
this.
timeline of this stuff. But we know that this stuff actually does
Here's what I want to do.
Heat to be trapped in there.
Here's what, because we don't have enough time today, obviously, but climate change is important to me. Obviously, it's important to you. I think that we need to do an episode on climate change because I am coming at you like a Jim Inhofe holding a snowball in the middle of Congress, and I'm like, they only invent equipment to tell you climate change is bad so they can sell more money or make more money.
But here's the thing: the opposite end of that are oil companies. Is there any money in oil?
Not right now. There's not.
Oh, there's lots of money in oil. That's what these people have been like the Iraq War.
I know that. Yeah.
Go in there. First thing you do is get the pipelines and. Anyway, that's another discussion.
I think,
Did you have anything else? I think
let me
we
see here. I
rambled
think
for a bit.
let me see. Student debt.
How long have we been live?
Just a little over an hour. We're not bad.
Is it over now? Okay.
We're not bad. We got a couple people watching actually.
Yeah, what's up to the two that are watching?
Yeah, appreciate that. The two OGs. That's
Yeah.
all I had today. I just want everyone to know that we're here together discussing topics that concern us and I think concern other people.
Yeah.
And are important to other people.
And it takes a while to get some of this stuff together and I know what to talk about. I believe I know where you're going with this. Send us some suggestions, things that you'd like to hear about.
Yeah, what's important to you and your family and your kids, and what are your kids talking about it from school and or your parents, or what do your parents miss? I don't know. There's just so much. And I went to the watch party the other night with Ryan Walters. Go Ryan Walters, state superintendent.
Congrats, Ryan.
He did.
I don't like you, but congrats, buddy.
Yeah, he did a good job.
Yeah.
You saw the picture of me with the governor and
Yeah. It was a party I wished I'd known about.
I didn't tell Tim. I really didn't. I was like,
because I would have liked to have declined that one.
Yeah.
Didn't give me that chance, Ron.
There are parties that you take Tim to, and there are parties you don't take Tim to.
That's one you might.
Yeah.
No. I think I say I would have made things uncomfortable, but
you absolutely, because if you had taken me to some April Grace watch party,
yeah.
Oh yeah, I'd have been.
Might have been. We call ourselves loudmouths for a reason.
Yeah.
There's usually very little filter with us.
Yeah, there would have been a couple of.
Yeah.
But I still got to get you to meet Ryan. He's awesome.
Yeah, I mean, one day. Yeah.
I mean, there was another politician that you hated too until I got you to talk to him, right?
Oh, I didn't hate him. And well, he talked to me online, and that was a misunderstanding that we got cleared up.
But that was important to him too, right?
Yeah, it was.
And Ryan has asked, and I'm gonna tell y'all right now, and Ryan will vouch for me, and I got some other people too. Ryan was genuinely, and he asked that you come to the fundraiser that was at my house.
Yeah.
So that he could talk to you. But
I didn't want to come to somebody's house and make things uncomfortable. That's how I felt. If it was a neutral ground, that might be different. but again, that person you're talking about, that's Chris Banning. I actually wrote an
I'll
article
say, yeah, this is Chris
about
Banning.
Chris Banning, and he was. Let's see.
Who you got?
Oh, okay, that's my cousin. I thought it may have been somebody telling me about what's going on the show, like our stream stopped.
Oh, okay.
Which I think we fixed all those problems.
Yeah, we're good now. We're like
We haven't
professionals
lost
right now.
We
Yeah.
haven't lost video.
No.
We haven't lost.
We're good.
Thanks to my wife and to myself. It's been a long road, but
We
we
did
got
have
there.
to call IT one time.
Yeah, we did. But it was IT magic.
Thank you,
It was
IT Magic.
Yeah. It worked itself out. Now I forgot what we was talking about.
Chris Banning.
Chris Banning.
Wonderful man.
Yeah, I actually wrote an article about him after I had a conversation with him, which I'm not going to talk about what we talked about. I realized the guy was just trying to do what he thought was right. I don't agree with a lot of the things that he is pushing for policy-wise, but he is a genuine guy, and
He wanted to hear what you had to say, though, right?
yeah. He talked to me, and it was a really good conversation. And I'm glad to know the guy, and I'm glad he's there fighting because he's more open-minded than people might think he is, and that's the kind of people I want in office.
I think that once I get you in front of Ryan Walters, you'll think the same thing.
I think I'll change his mind.
I think you'll
he's
change
gonna-
your mind. I think you're right.
After 10 minutes, Ryan, you're going to become a socialist. You're going to start supporting Bernie Sanders.
I think you're probably going to start combing your hair like Ryan Walters when you meet him.
Yeah. We'll see. We'll see who comes out.
But no,
We'll do a
we're
special
going.
episode on that.
Will you go to the watch party with me in November?
Sure, unless there's another one somebody invites me to.
Are you fucking serious right now?
Oh yeah. I got lots of peeps.
Are you going to Joy Hoffmeister's watch party? Is that what you're saying?
No, I was there last week.
Oh yeah. How'd that go?
Oh, it was a joy.
Oh, I bet it was a joy. You're not voting for Joy Hoffmeister. Are you really voting for Joy Hoffmeister?
I won't vote for Kevin Stitt
But how do you vote for Joy Hoffmeister?
because she's not Kevin Stitt.
That's the problem we're in now.
It is, and it's the problem we've
It's
always
fucking
been in.
Ridiculous.
It
I
is.
almost said another word. It's ridiculous.
I hate it. It was like when you people let Bernie Sanders get
people.
screwed over, and I'm talking to you people. You know who I'm talking about.
Tim, that's the.
Well, you can push him to the left once he's elected. Like, I don't know, you're going to stand in front of a hedge fund people and say, "Don't worry, if you elect me, nothing's going to change for you." Oh,
Right.
he's a liberal. This dude's
That's
been-
the problem we're in now.
Don't get me started on
People
that.
aren't voting for people they believe in. They're voting for people they can't stand.
and against the people they can't stand. Unfortunately, you get basically two options when it comes to voting.
Yeah, shit
it
and shit.
sucks. Right. And it's like you pick
Except
the
Ryan
better of the
Walters.
two
Ryan
guys.
Walters and Chris Banning are not shit. They're good.
Yeah.
Good
Of
Americans.
course, I will point out Joy hasn't done anything that I hated. Not that I can think of.
Oh, I will say that the Oklahoma State Board, they voted to sustain the sanctions they put on TPS.
Well, here's the issue I have. Nobody's released that yet. I have yet to hear the audio or read the slides, which I think the public has a right to know. Because if you're going to do that, lower the accreditation, the Tulsa Public Schools should have made that public.
I got two words for you: personnel issues.
That's a personnel issue. I'm sorry that he molested your child, but we can't talk about that. That stuff has to change. Anyway, did you have anything else, man?
I don't.
No?
No, I just want everybody to get along and come to a compromise and find a equal and fair ground that everybody's voice gets heard, and that's why I'm here, and that's why I'm putting up with this.
If these two loudmouth dads can do it, y'all can do it too.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
Reach out, and you don't have to hate on us all the time.
Not all the time. But if you do, it's okay.
It is. I don't have feelings. I know this somebody don't have feelings, so
Oh, I've got feelings.
he's sensitive.
All right, so we'll be on next Sunday, right? Or this
and
coming up Sunday.
Tell them where we're at again. We're on all kinds of stuff now, right?
Yeah, Spotify, Amazon Music. We are on Google Podcast. We are on Anchor. You can find us on Anchor. YouTube. And Facebook. Hopefully by Sunday we'll be able to stream to multiple locations at once, so you can watch us wherever you prefer: Facebook, YouTube, or Spotify, what have you.
And y'all need to reach out to. You can reach out to either one of us, but if you have a book or a question about Gaggle or or something that doesn't sit right, send us a message.
Yeah.
It's the Real Ron on Facebook.
Loudmouth now.
Hang on just a second.
Okay.
You got the Real Ron on Facebook. You got Tim Ryland on Facebook. You got Loudmouth on Facebook.
Yep.
You got what is it? Loudmouthproduction.com.
Don't have the website yet. We did that for our email address.
We're working on that.
My email is tim@loudmouthproduction.com.
Mine is Ronald Cosby 77.
Well, no. You're Ron at.
Well, I got two of them. Ronald Cosby 77 at gmail.com. That's on my Real Ron page. I have another one. It is Ron at loudmouthproduction.com.
Yeah.
But you can find all this information on any of our pages anywhere.
If you have a story that you want to get out there that you aren't comfortable letting out, reach out to one of us and we'd be happy to air that for you.
Yeah, and we're not going to
we're here for.
We're not going to blast out somebody's name unless you want us to, and then that's my skill set. But we like for people that want to remain anonymous, we'll do that.
And we don't care which side you're on, because if it's a liberal issue that you want to talk about, I'm happy to post it. If it's on the right side, I'm sure he'll be happy to talk about it. So you can get.
Well, and I don't want to say that if
it's a 2-for-1.
If it's a liberal issue and it's a legitimate issue,
oh sure,
I might have questions, but if it's an issue, we need to take care of it.
Yeah, for sure.
So absolutely. So
that's what we're here for.
Yeah.
Don't be nervous.
Appreciate you.
Yeah. Thank you, Ron. We'll see y'all next time. This was episode 5. We'll see you episode 6 Sunday at 7 o'clock.
Sunday at 7. We'll be here.
Peace out.
Peace out.